Okay, a significance level alpha is the probability value used as a standard for significantly higher low values. A significance level of alpha equals 0.05 means that a value is considered significantly high or low if the probability of its occurrence is less than or equal to 5%. So, significantly low values occur in the left tail of the distribution and have probabilities less than or equal to alpha. So, for example, if I were looking at, for instance, this value here, and let's say that's the value of x1, well, if I'm looking at all the area to the left of that, then that area would be less than the total pink area here of alpha. So therefore, this x1 value would be considered significantly low. And as a matter of fact, even if I'm right there on the line, and this is my value of x2, for instance, right? Well, the area to the left of this one is exactly equal to alpha. So x2 would also be considered significantly low. On the other hand, this value here of x3, well, the area to the left of x3 would be larger than alpha. Alpha is only that pink area, while the entire shaded area to the left of x3 would be the probability of x3. So therefore, that would mean that x3 is not a significantly low value. So x1 and x2 are significantly low. x3 is not significantly low because the probability of x3 is greater than alpha. All right, so let's use that to answer this question here. Okay, so the length of pregnancies are normally distributed with a mean of 268 days and a standard deviation of 15 days. A pregnancy lasts 243 days. So here's the situation they're talking about here. We have a normal distribution, so we have a bell curve. And in the middle of the bell curve, we have the mean, which they gave us as 268 days. The standard deviation describes the spread, 15 days. But then they're looking to see if the value of 243, which is less than the mean. So they want to know, even though it's less than the mean, is it extremely low? So is this an extremely short pregnancy? So I want to know what's the probability of getting a value this extreme. So the probability that x is less than or equal to 243 is what I'm looking for. And I'm looking for that probability in a normal distribution. So I'm going to find that by using the Normalcdf. I'm going to use Python to do that. So let me open up Python here. And the Normalcdf is what I'm going to use. In order to use that Normalcdf, I have to import a library first. I'm going to import the Scipy library. So import Scipy, or actually I want scipy.stats. That's the specific library. Scipy.stats, I'm going to give it the alias stats. So now I'm going to call that stats object. And when I call the stats object, I'm going to call specifically the norm.cumulative distribution function, which is abbreviated CDF. And I'm looking for the area to the left of 243 days. 243 days is the length of that pregnancy. And the mean is the next parameter I put in, which is 268 days for the mean. And the last thing I put in is the standard deviation, which is 15 days. So that's what I put in to this function. So I imported scipy.stats as stats. Then I call that stats object, and specifically the norm.cdf method. I input the parameters, which are the value I'm trying to find the area to the left of. That's what the CDF gives you, the area to the left of this number that goes first, 243. And the mean goes second, so you're going to give the mean of the distribution. And the standard deviation goes last. When you run this, you get this value right here, 0.0478, let's call it, 0.0478. So let's go compare. So we found that this probability here is 0.0478. So this is equal to 0.0478. And what I'm comparing that to, I'm comparing it to the value of alpha. Well, the value of alpha was given as 0.5. So a value is only considered significant if its probability is less than or equal to 0.5, which is exactly what I have. The probability of this, the probability of a pregnancy being as short as 243 days is less than 5%. It's about 4.78%. And therefore, a pregnancy as short as 243 days is actually considered a significantly short pregnancy. So I can answer the question, this pregnancy would be considered significantly short.